welcome to Babes in the Conclave, a Traitors podcast where we talk crushes, gay drama, and a little strategy. I am the most faithful of faithful, Australia Traitors Season 2, Annabel, and joining me is my ride or die, the sexiest first boot from Australian Survivor Brains vs. Brawn. It's Chili Philly. How you going, Philly?
I'm good. How are you, Annabelle?
Well, I was better before pre-podcast. You started giving me graphic details about the status of your cold, the color of your phlegm, and I was already feeling a bit emotionally weak, to be fair.
I know, I was watching your face as I was describing it, but you're too good to not mention that. It was disgusting. It was disgusting.
I did say, Phil, that's gross.
Yeah, but I feel like people sometimes just say, oh, yuck, to just like anything as a response.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, it was horrific, everyone. Just be grateful we spared you that. Full spoiler warnings. We will be spoiling, obviously, the Traitors US. Oh, I didn't say what we're doing today. Oh, I was trying, team. I'm trying. We are going to be covering the Traitors USA Season 4. The first episode drops. That's episodes 1 to 3. This is full spoilers for those episodes, but also spoiler warning for UK Season 4 that's currently airing, and honestly, any other season of the Traitors that we've seen that we feel like talking about. We're kind of prolific spoilers.
Yeah. Or even just the shows that in this context, the shows that these people have been on as well.
Yeah. Liberal spoilers. Also, let's acknowledge our rebrand. We are hotter than ever. And we felt, you know what? This podcast should be hotter than ever as well. So, formerly Babes on the Brink, we are now Babes in the Conclave. And we're going to be making a couple of little improvements as we can be asked. Moving on to this season, Phil, we've seen the first 3 episodes. What were your thoughts? You're very fresh. You just watched them.
Yeah. So I would say, I had been spoiled on a lot of the beats before I'd watched it. Obviously, just being on social media in general. So I knew what to expect. And in that sense, I was feeling a little disappointed in the results. That being said, watching it, it definitely was very different from the seasons in the past. I think you kind of said when we did our preview podcast that this group seems to be a stronger group of people who want to play. And I mean across the board. And I feel like I could sense that. And so while the end results for basically almost all the sort of happenings sort of were disappointing, I could see semblance of potential in the season overall that I just don't think I particularly had with most other seasons of US.
Yeah. I was not spoiled. Like, the bushfires around Victoria took down my wireless internet. So I am standing in the middle of the street in the hottest day you can possibly imagine, trying to get some phone signal to download the episodes because I was like, I refuse to be spoiled. I want to live this moment. I'm 2 episodes in and I'm like, is this better than the current UK season? This is absolutely incredible. I am living for this every moment. Then we get to episode 3. We start with the most devastating murder imaginable. We get the banishment straight after breakfast, and I'm just like, why am I even continuing to watch this episode? What's even happening here? I hated this change of the banishment timing on the UK as well. I feel like, okay, the murder's happened, the banishment has happened. What have I even got left to look forward to? It ends up making it feel like a waste of an episode.
Because, so I haven't caught up on UK, but you pointing that out before we hopped on, now I know that that's going to be something for me to expect. But when I was watching this for the US one, I was like, were they trying to speed something up? Because obviously, okay, I remember your last podcast with Pia, not the for the first week of UK, and I think you both were speculating whether or not they will repeat the secret traitor twist with US, given that they had um no promotion for it, unlike UK where it was like forefronted as the big twist of the season. So when I was watching US, I was like, oh, did they do this on purpose so they can sort of speed this up? But now you said that with UK they also did it. Do you think they just sort of implemented this sort of speed run of an episode just so whether or not the secret traitor was there or not, that they could sort of get through the motions a little bit quicker? Because it didn't really make any sense anyway. It's like they still did a mission. There's still a murder, like in front of face-to-face murder. Like it didn't make any difference whether or not it
I think
happened
this was a
earlier.
fun I think they thought that this was going to be a fun twist to experiment with. Like, "Ooh, what if we jump straight into a banishment?" I think the reason why, and we'll get to it when we get to it, I think there's a good reason why the secret traitor wasn't made a big deal of, and I think it is because Donna Kelsey went early. But I don't think that they knew it was a sure thing Donna Kelsey would go at the next banishment, and I don't think that they chose to make it early due to that. Just but the fact that both of them did it around the same time. Not
Because
exactly the
also,
same time, but very quickly.
do you know what was the filming order, UK or US first?
No, I don't. In my mind, the UK goes first, but I don't know where I pulled that from.
Yeah, because it would be really, because I feel like I always talk about this every season because I always find that clearly something has been done in response to something else. And I feel like there were things last season with the US that clearly it had happened first and the UK had sort of reinterpret or like changed it slightly to be a little bit better. But yeah, would just be really
L-
interesting. But
Let's put a
it was a
pause.
weird episode. Yeah, that last episode.
Let's put a Yeah, yeah, yeah. Let's put a pause on talking about Donna Kelsey and the Secret Trader because I will be damned if Donna fucking Kelsey gets to be the headline of
No,
Babes
yeah,
in the Conclave, episode 1 of no, she is not the main character, all right? The main
no.
character is our sweet prince, Rob
Hmm.
Sesternino. And
Yes,
we are starting with the moratorium not since Natalie went out in Canada season 3 have we been this upset.
yes.
We've
Do you know what's really funny? I was thinking about it before, but I realize that every time I'm on, especially if it's a podcast that I'm hosting of ours, and I always ask you or whomever, China, Jane, and I always ask for a eulogy for blah, blah, blah. I'm doing a Rob bit. Like, I remember years ago, I used to listen to his Evolution of Strategy podcast with Josh Wigler, I think. And after each person would get voted out, they would ask for a eulogy. And I realize that's where I get that from. So I feel like it's very symbolic that we are going to now do another one for Rob himself.
Yeah, but like this is what I mean. Very influential on both your and my lives. Like I've listened to this man every single day for 10 years. I don't even know now like what is me and what is like seeped into my deep subconscious from all the media that I'm consuming. And I was so sad. I was sad, then I was really angry. I went to bed and I'm like, Annabelle, I think we need to talk to our therapist about how much we're emotionally investing in these parasocial relationships because this is embarrassing. And then I woke up this morning and I was like, no, fuck that. I am mad. I am mad. And you know what? I can hold a grudge, Philly. I I am holding grudges my friends let go of decades ago. So you better believe that I will be 85 years old, hanging out in my nursing home for the elderly and mentally unstable. And I will still be smiting Rob Rausch and Donna Kelsey.
Yeah. 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 It's literally Donna Kelsey's fault. Like, it's actually her fault.
And no, it's literally Rob Rausch's fault more.
He had other options.
I just need to bitch about him for a sec. Like, I am so
Okay.
done with
Yeah.
this man. We called him out
Yeah.
for queer baiting before the season. He's continuing to queer bait. Like, leave Johnny alone. Now he's asking whether or not Donna Kelsey is single. Rob Rausch, I bet I bet you don't even want to fuck Donna Kelsey. I bet you've never even sucked a dick. Coward! Coward!
No, he hasn't. There's no way.
R- Real men suck dick. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Anyway,
They might
back
even
to
just touch
the
one.
yeah, exactly. At least touch one. It's all we're asking for. So, but I thought, okay, back to Rob. Rob Sestonino, the Rob that doesn't suck. He did absolutely nothing wrong. I thought he had an incredible edit. He was the strategic narrator of the first two episodes, really portrayed as the person who had the best read as to what was going on in the game, how to play the game. And can you imagine? Can you imagine? He was going to get murdered in plain sight regardless. Like, I've seen some criticism of him talking to, calling out the murder in plain sight to Candace, but he was getting mipsed regardless.
Yeah.
Imagine if he didn't have that moment. Like, his last moment is him reading the room, knowing exactly what's happening. He could have been Ian. We didn't get anything from Ian in the
Yeah.
first episode. Rob is the main character. Everybody else is kind of looking like a fool one way or another. I just thought this was brilliant for him.
Yeah, fully. I know there's nothing better than coming across on a show as somebody who's not only robbed, but was right. You fall under that category too. And so, you know, obviously he would have benefited from us seeing these weekly instead of a three at one sort of drop. But that being said, he came across so well. That was such a good thing to end on. Even the fact when he had to read the letter and he knew exactly, he was like, I knew it. That's all he needed for people to understand that he would have been good at this game beyond this moment. So yeah, and especially with the Traitors, as Trina always points out when we podcast together, it's like people will always hold on to the fact that you weren't good at the Traitors because you didn't pick up on things. While Rob will now always be known, similar to you, as somebody who picked up on everything.
Yeah. But he was also, I thought, something I wasn't great at, good at getting relationships with everyone. We saw him have these really tight relationship with Tiffany, loads of conversations with Donna Kelsey, was clearly making a concerted effort with her when hardly anyone else was, which honestly makes this sting all the harder. And the housewives seem to love him. Like Carolyn, one of the first things Caroline says is, we need him on side. He's going to figure this shit out. Like Candace stops him from being put up for murder in the first mission. She's been active on social media, being like, oh, I loved him. She's commenting on all of his posts. He's bonding with Dorinda. He's like, I hope they save dinner for you this time. Like, he was across the housewives, the gamers, even these leftovers, everybody he had buttoned up. And it's just a shame that Rob Rausch was one of the people that he hadn't put in time with, and that Donna Kelsey has some kind of sick, evil fetish for targeting the gamers.
Well, we did call in our preview that Rob Rausch is potentially like a really toxic man. Wait, did we say that? Was he the toxic man of all of them? Like the most massive, the biggest?
I think
And that's the thing.
we said Michael Rappaport was going to be the most toxic man on the season, but I think we identified our toxic masks as Colton, Rob Rausch, and Steven. And we were like, wait a minute, is Rob Sestonino going to be included in there? Is Rob one of the most overtly masked men on the season?
Yeah. Yeah, and guess what? The universe suggested to us that no, at his core, Rob is one of us.
He is. He is. Anyway, I was really pissed off, but I think he had a really brilliant run. I think it was a really solid 2 episodes for him. I think he came off looking really, really well. And my concern as we look at the other people who have gone is that this is going to be an unusual season moving forward. So let's get into that. Let's talk about the secret traitor. Our secret traitor here is Donna Kelsey, but there's a couple of things that differentiate this from how it's going in the UK. So for those who aren't watching the UK, secret traitor gets to make a short list of people who can be murdered by the rest of the traitors that night. The rest of the traitors do not know who this secret traitor is. And in this particular instance, Donna Kelsey does not know who the other traitors are either. We, the audience, don't know who the secret traitor is. So in the very first episode, the secret traitor is selected in front of everyone else. Everyone's got to draw a card and it tells them whether or not basically they're the secret traitor. And we find out she's not going to know who the other traitors are. What did you think about the changes that they made to this versus the UK? And what did you think about Donna Kelsey as the choice?
So this, I realize now, I think this was what made me wonder what came first. Because, okay, sorry everybody to talk about UK, but like the thing is with the UK one was that because the Secret Traitor knew who the group were, the main group of traitors sort of had to work in fear, I guess, of them knowing and them targeting them and all this sort of stuff. And it does sort of fruit in that context. This, I feel like, maybe came first only because the secret traitor effectively was like burning people on the shortlist by including people who were already traitors. And that doesn't play as interestingly. And also, it's just sort of like this group of traitors has to now play to the whims of somebody who's just doing what, like, there's no sense of connecting the dots of who this person is or whatever in that sense. Like, I think, yeah, the traitors needed to sort of feel the fear of the secret traitor a little bit longer. Obviously they were still gung-ho on getting rid of them, but I think I liked how it played in the UK.
I just confirmed the UK films months before the US version does.
Okay, so maybe then they didn't like how it played out in the UK and they were like, cut it out.
Yes, maybe, but I also wonder if they, because of the pre-existing conceptions and pre-existing relationships, they wanted to do it a little bit differently for the US. I don't know. But I don't know that I thought it didn't work as well because she couldn't support them and it did create some tension, but I don't think that mattered. I think the reason why this really flopped, whereas I think it worked really well in the UK, is because the faithful clocked her so quickly. She was
Yeah.
not cut out to be the secret traitor, and because she was revealed, within the second banishment she's out, it meant that there was no point in the edit really investing in this secret traitor plot line. We didn't have a whole week to look at clues and obsess. Oh, who's the secret traitor? Is it this person? Is it this person? I mean, the blessing to all that is that we didn't have to have the edit wasting our time with endless red herrings and, ooh, am I the secret traitor? Am I the secret?
Wink, wink.
We actually got to see Rob display what a strategic powerhouse he is. So I'm grateful for that, but the downside was the secret traitor twist I don't feel like it hit at all.
And I want another thought I randomly had about Donna being the traitor is like, I just have a weird feeling that production really only chose her to be a traitor so that, and we sort of talked about it in our preview, that people would be very less willing to vote her out because it's Donna Kelsey and Taylor Swift and all this sort of like larger thing. I feel like it benefits the show from her being a traitor because then when they vote her out and she is a traitor, then her fandom can't say that they all like. I feel like there's a little bit of PR management with the decision there, and it sort of works out well because then it's like, yeah, she was a traitor, so she can go because she was not actually equipped for this at all.
No, she was no. But I think that the meta was so obvious, right?
Yeah.
Like, Natalie clocks this episode 1, she's like, "There's absolutely no way they're not picking Donna Kelsey as a traitor." From the moment people see her, they're like, "Of course they're gonna make Donna Kelsey a bloody traitor." So, I think making her a traitor was too obvious of a choice. Um, people kept going on about loving her. Like, honestly, that was the other thing. I'm like, you're all voting for her. Stop paying homage and sucking up the ass of the Swifties, okay? Like, we get it. You want to vote for her. She's not even talking to you. She also wasn't cut out for it because she was socially isolating herself. Like, she wouldn't talk strategy with anyone other than Ron and Michael, who maybe she already had a relationship with Ron. I don't know about Michael, but she wasn't cut out for it. It was too obvious of a choice. And I do think because she was such an obvious choice, maybe she would have gone regardless. And you're right, at least by making her a traitor, there's going to be slightly less Swifty outrage.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and these are the things that they'd be thinking about. Even the fact that whenever we talk about the meta of it, and even when we talked about who they would select as traitors, like, everything's going to be in response to something else. Like, obviously, everybody seemingly could predict that Lisa Rinna was going to be a traitor. But even just like the concept of like it'll be a random Lisa Rinna and then somebody else. Like,
I
yeah,
actually
we
think
would
the
be able to
US
know.
does the worst job of this. Every
Yeah,
even the celebrity UK really did a good choice of not picking exactly who you expected to be a traitor.
yeah,
Like, in every other version, you have your obvious choices and it's never them. It's always someone you didn't even think of. Whereas I feel like every season with the US, you're like, yep, of course they made Dan Giesling a traitor. Of course they made Boston Rob a traitor. The only the what I would say is Donna Kelsey and Lisa Rinna aside, Rob Rausch, an inspired choice.
yes, yeah. As much as he's a he's got the toxic man thing going on. He is a
He's
very good
literally
choice.
dead to me. He's literally. They were all afraid of the Swifties. They should have been worrying about the chronically online survivor freaks who are obsessed with Rob Has a Podcast.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
if you think Taylor Swift is doing fan service, you clearly weren't an intern being taught how not to cyberbully when you were however old you were, Phil. Let's talk about the traitors. So our starting traitors who aren't secret, we've got Rob Rausch, Candice, otherwise known as Candy
Candy
Ace,
Ace.
Candy Ace, and Lisa Rinna. I have not been. I just thought your episode with Tranna covering the first drop of UK4 was brilliant. And I haven't been able to stop thinking about you guys discussing whether or not they made their traders' selections were intentionally people who would not be good at the role. And I want to know, Philly, do we think there's an element of that here as well?
Yeah, I think. Well, okay, they picked two housewives, which I feel like, and thank goodness I did the preview thing on Candy Ace because what I said, I was like, I watched the best of her. She's willing to fight. She's willing to be vocal. She's willing to verbalize, make mistakes, whatever. And I think, yeah, because I feel like in this specific scenario, I can't tell if whether or not they want Rob to succeed or Lisa to succeed, but Candace being in the turret was definitely designed for them to flop in some way. And then obviously having somebody really low key like Rob versus two really sort of like strong personalities in Lisa and Candace. Like, and also just like he's young, he's so much younger than them. He's like such an outlier. Like, I feel like, yeah, it's gonna be because I don't think they would have been able to predict how Rob would have gone. Um, but like I said, he might have gotten some heads up from Aaron, even though Aaron wasn't a traitor. But yeah, I feel like there's small elements of this because
He
with the
doesn't need to
secret
take
traitor
advice from
thing,
Aaron.
Yeah. But I think and also because Donna Kelsey was the secret traitor, I feel like they just, yeah, they wanted the rotation.
I think it was more
Donna was just that
important
bad.
to them. I think it was more important to them, as you're right. It wasn't about selecting people who might struggle. It was about making sure there was zero gamers, even squinting they could be a gamer, right? Like that was by design. They said, we had all gamers last time. Yeah, it was drama, but the housewives all went early. Like, what would happen if we just put non-gamers up there? That said, not having any gamers in the turret absolutely means we're going to lose all the gamers in the first half. Like, they're always going to have suspicion on them for banishment by nature of their previous shows. There's nobody, nobody protecting them in the turret, and there is this housewife versus gamer rivalry. And there's also, this meta of the gamers always being selected, which gives extra reason to banish them. So even outside the meta of the housewives all going out early last season, the last 2 seasons of having self-destructive traitor on traitor, housewives don't generally turn on each other. I think this means we wipe out all of the gamers and we just have any floaters who attach themselves to the housewives. I'm looking at Colton here. And I
Yeah.
just think that it's going to be, oops, all housewives at the end. All of these people like Delulu Colton, who thinks that he is some kind of traitor hunted genius. He's the second coming of Peter Party Pals. We're going to have, it's going to be my worst nightmare, Philly.
Yeah.
Michael Rapaport is going to be there at the end, mark my words.
Yeah.
People who have
Yeah.
no idea what they're doing whatsoever on both sides of the table. It's going to be a complete mess. I'm sure
Yeah.
that there's an audience out there for that, but I hoped this season would be different. I fear it's going to be even worse.
No, dude, because you know what, Annabelle? At this point, let's look into Canada logic with this season. We have no way of
No,
predicting
no,
what's going
no.
to happen. Oh,
Oh, I can predict exactly what's going to happen. We're going to lose Tiffany. We're going to lose Eric. We're going to lose Monet. We're going to lose Kristen.
Natalie.
We're going to lose Natalie.
Natalie. We're going to
We're going to
lose
lose
Tara.
Jam Jam. And at
Yeah.
the end, no. At the end, no, Tara, if you remember, Tara is bonding.
She's with
Bonnie's
Candace,
going. He's
yes.
too a fan.
Yeah.
She's with Candace. The end is going to be all of the housewives minus Portia, plus Tara, Michael Rapaport, and Colton.
Yeah.
And Maura.
Yeah. And Stephen. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
probably
because
Stephen because he'll be there.
the vortex that sort of is going to happen without the gamers is that with 2 out of the 4 remaining housewives not being in the being in the turret, they can't risk getting rid of any housewives for any particular reason because it will bring attention to both of them. Well, but do you know what? Now I said that out loud. Do you think they both put 2 in the turret so they hope that they do get strong housewife on housewife action?
Well, this
Because
is
they
what I
also
was
put
just saying
2 that
before.
get iconically into fights.
Well, as I said before, like, the thing about putting gamers in the turret is the gamers can't help themselves but see each other as their biggest threats and target each other. Whereas the housewives, generally speaking, stick together. We don't get a lot of housewife on housewife violence. I feel like Candace put a vote on Portia just because she thought that's where the crowd was going and she was being defensive as a faithful. But there's no way Candace and Lisa Rinna turn on each other. Like, the only person I could see them maybe cutting would be Caroline if there starts to be talk about why are all the housewives here, but I bet they even keep her in as long as possible. And
Yeah.
Dorinda's endgame.
Yeah. Dorinda's safe forever.
Yeah.
The fact that they all bowed to her and congratulated her for being safe, it's like, guys, she could be a traitor. Like, what the hell?
So, yeah. What we're going to have to hope for is not gameplay drama, but personal drama. Right
Do you
now,
know what?
Michael
I want that.
Rapaport is carrying that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I want that. I want drama. I want fights. You know what? Because that's the thing. I feel like, and this is what I was kind of saying with we need to put Canada logic, and I don't mean like chaotic strategic decisions, but we need to now like focus our minds on realizing that these people are going to do random decisions that are almost emotionally based that we can't predict because they all don't even know why they're doing it in the first place. Um, and we are already seeing it. Like we're already seeing, like even like for example, Michael sort of being against Jam Jam for getting the shield, even though it would like Michael Rappaport was like, oh, but I wanted the shield. But why is this a discussion?
I would
Why
argue
is now Jam Jam?
I would argue though, Phil, outside of Candace doing this very half-hearted stir the pot between Portia and Michael, all of the personal drama,
Is
the
him?
drama has been carried by Michael Rapaport. That has not been
Yeah,
anybody
yeah,
else. It has been him screaming
yeah,
into a void. So,
yeah.
unless we're just going to watch Michael Rapaport scream for the next 5 weeks, like, what am I interested in? And I'm open minded to it. Like, maybe we will get something. It's going to feel very different to any other season we've seen before of the Traitors. And so I'm open and receptive and I want it to be good. I'm just concerned because I don't see any gameplay drama coming.
No, I have a feeling that this crew might have watched last season and seen how Danielle was and might think we need to bump up a bit of that.
Okay. I
OTT
hope so.
drama, like let's be dramatic. Why not make this because also obviously we now have to also note that like they're going to do a civilian version now. There's something around this that has led them to want to do it with regular people. And it might just be that this is full of so much weird drama and theatrics and stuff that doesn't make it as intriguing as UK civilian version or even the other Celebrity UK or any other version, to be perfectly honest. Any other version. There's something about this that is misfiring. Yeah.
They must think it's good enough to invest more in it. Yeah.
So there's something about it. There's something about this that while we might not on a week to week basis have a lot of through lines with the decision making, it might be more entertaining than we may expect.
And I'm just being a hater because I'm salty about the Rob murder. Don't get me wrong. So, like, let's actually talk about the individual Traitors games. Lisa Rinna. We immediately get a Harry Hamlin reference upon her selection. Other than that, I feel like we got almost nothing from her
Nothing.
over these 3 episodes, Phil.
Yeah, even when Natalie was like, Dorinda, just go up to Lisa and be her partner. Like, why do you want to be by yourself? And then she walks up, and then we have this weird moment where they're like, yeah, we're together. Okay. It was like, sure.
Okay.
Yep, that was a moment. No, I think Lisa's going to be the most successful of them. She's a lot, like I said, I think when we did our preview, I think Lisa knows what to do. And you said as well, she's going to be the most gameplay of all of these people. So I think Lisa will be fine. Um, but yeah, we barely got anything of her, but I feel like that's also a strong indication that she'll make it far doing what she's currently doing. We're not getting told she's making mistakes. I feel like in the past, we've always shown breadcrumbs of Dan is
Mistake
not
being
doing
made.
enough. Phaedra's not doing enough. Oh, now they started talking. Oh, Parvati's like, Caroline's been kooky. Like, all this sort of thing. She's getting
The
nothing.
only The only thing we're not getting from Lisa are who are her faithful pawns. We're not seeing her rally pawns around. Um and we're seeing her make slight missteps. So Candace getting frustrated that Lisa in mission 2 takes her shield spot rather than a faithful's shield spot. Like, I don't know that Lisa know I don't know. I think Rob Rausch, as much as I hate stupid, sexy asshole Rob Rausch, I think that he is playing a really strong game. Like, very under
Mm.
the radar, other than when Michael does his weird thing calling out 11 out of the 21, 22 players in the castle. Nobody is looking at him. He's got this really strong trust with Mora. He is riding around with the confidence of a man who has been told every day of his life just how good looking he is.
Yeah.
And he seems unflappable at this point.
And I'll be honest, I kind of get it. Like, he is very handsome. Um, but I think when we were saying in our preview that he may fall into that sort of, well, because I can't remember, I think we might have been talking about Steven or Eric or whatever, but I don't know if we specifically talked about Rob in this context. But Rob, as US has proven time and time again, if you're a good looking man, you'll get away and make it really far until you do. Like, realistically, the only reason why Pilot Pete got banished or murdered or whatever was because of the success of the Peter Party Pals. Outside of that, every single other sort of handsome man has made it very far just based off virtue of being a handsome man. Yeah, we've had some be eliminated early, but once that's sort of been out of the way, like, handsome man as an archetype is not considered in the same realm as gamer and housewife, you know?
No. He's going to
But
ride
there's
that pretty
multiple.
privilege hard. He's riding
Yeah,
that pretty privilege to the end.
yeah, yeah,
Candice, I think we're seeing her as the messiest. So,
yes.
she's throwing Lisa's name out before they get to the turret. She's involved in drama from episode 1, though I think she does quite a good job of, because she causes this fight between Portia and Michael, and she's like, I don't even remember that. That was a nothing drama to me. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
that doesn't even register on my drama Richter scale. And then she does the conga line during Murder in Plain Sight was insane, Phil. What
yeah.
the fuck was that?
So random. Like, I get it. You want the biggest distraction to get the maximum amount of people, but it was just so obvious to anybody who was even
No one
using
conga lines.
a
Yeah.
brain. Like, it wasn't even like, let's all have some drinks in the billiards room. It was literally like, let's just do this grand gesture. But the thing is, it does play with these people. These people bought it. The only person who seemingly didn't buy it was Rob. And then he expressed it
Yes.
to her, which I,
Yes.
I was really, actually, that is a question for Rob. Did Rob suggest that to her knowing that she was the person who instigated it? Or did he just not know?
I can imagine, because I feel like this is something I would do. She walked in on him having that conversation with somebody else, and he didn't want to seem cagey, so he just immediately tells her what the discussion was about. And as he's saying it, is like, oh shit, I think she was the one who started the
Yeah,
conga
yeah.
line. I can see that just being, but again, I just want to emphasize that had nothing to do with his murder.
No, he was already a threat.
Speaking of murders, there was one other person who was murdered here, and that was our very handsome preseason crush pick, Ian.
I know. I know. We're losing all the hotties early.
I know, especially the hotties who aren't reprehensible, And I'm
Yeah,
just so sad that we didn't get to see more of him. I feel like he was trying to play an under the radar game. I feel like he was unfortunately taking the Boston Rob advice. He probably got advice from Dan Giesling, let's be real.
yeah,
And I just feel like that's not good advice. I understand why people think that playing an under the radar game is going to get you far. But the problem is it doesn't guarantee you get far. There's so much luck involved, so many chances that you're going to get murdered for absolutely nothing. The only thing doing nothing guarantees is that you get a nothing edit.
yeah.
And that's unfortunately what he got.
Yeah, and we talked about it when we did our preseason. Like, there's such a big difference between being the focus of the drama and that being bad for your game, and being focus of the drama and that getting you far. And someone like Rob, who was very vocal, benefited from that because while he was early out, he contributed a lot. Even like, for example, yourself, like, you're such a big character for your 5 or 6 episode. It was 5 or 6. yeah, for your 5 episodes, that your presence existed beyond you being there and while you were there. And I think the Traitors isn't a game that that benefits actual under the radar gameplay. Big Brother and Survivor, yes. Traitors, no. You have to be an active player because it's sort of funny. It's sort of like you have to actually have to have a storyline. You have to make your storyline because that is actually what gets brought to the round table. That is what actually gets brought to, and then you think about people who, let's say, people like Natalie or Monet or whoever who haven't necessarily been the focus of the drama, but they've been contributing enough that their names are then sort of getting sort of focused on. Like Monet was on one of the lists, Natalie was talking vocally at the round table. Still need to inject yourself into the game as much as you can because it will both give you longevity in terms of how other people are going to perceive you and, throw your name in the ring, etc., etc. But also, they're not going to perceive you as a threat because you're bringing the drama to the game.
What about a bit of heat? So we
Yeah,
we see he's murdered because we're like, look, he's smart, he's really capable of causing us damage, and we want to reduce the gamer numbers. So he did absolutely nothing wrong, and he says in his exit, I do not know what else I could have done. He was murdered by reputation, by the fact he was a gamer in a game where there's not a single gamer in the turret. So it's nothing he did. But do we think he would have benefited from making a big scene? Part of me was watching it and was like, if
yes.
Ian had just decided to get into a screaming match with somebody else, he isn't murdered night one. Like, he might be banished in episode 2, but he isn't the first murder. Is there something to be said for being the moment?
Well, now that you said that, I realize realistically, the only person who made a big deal about being on that initial murder list was Michael Rappaport. Other than that, everybody almost like accepted their fates. Obviously, Rob Roche aside, but everyone is like, "Oh, that's a shame." No, you all should have been going gung ho on it, because the thing is about this group of traders versus the UK ones, and obviously they had a few murders where that were defined by the secret trader as well, but the quote unquote ability to be random is almost removed if you're contributing something or you're creating suspicion or that you're giving reason to why, like people like, why is quote unquote, like, why is Ian acting like this? Like maybe the only person who probably could have gotten away with doing nothing is Dorinda because she would have been like, poor me, I'm the first person. But everyone else, to make sure it wasn't them, OTT, go crazy.
Let's throw something at this, like, we're just throwing things at the wall and seeing what sticks here. You're coming in. Obviously, there's going to be at least one housewife traitor because of last season. Should Ian have gone in there and started a fight with Dorinda? Dorinda, because if he starts a fight with Michael Rappaport, maybe they murder Ian to frame Michael, but they aren't going to want to frame Dorinda. Dorinda's
No.
either a traitor or she's friends with a traitor. If Ian goes in and just pops off on Dorinda, does that give him immunity?
Yeah. Seriously. That because also then there's that funny thing where they would feel bad for doing anything to Dorinda in response, like in the turret. So that is like actually a good sort of, you're creating drama where you have some safety. That was actually that's a good idea, Annabelle. I actually like that idea.
I don't think there's any universe in which Ian, poor sweet Ian, pops off on
On
vicious
Dorinda.
housewife Dorinda, but I'm just throwing it out there.
Yeah, could have saved you. Could have saved you.
Okay, let's look at the cursed shortlists created by the evil dictator Donna Kelsey. So her first shortlist, poor sweet Ian, Mark, who even is he? Eric, thoughts and prayers. Eric, we've seen a little bit of Eric, but not a lot of Eric.
Yeah.
And Rob
Yeah.
Rausch. So she's already ticking off her potential allies. But it's her second shortlist where the violence really starts. So this is for the murder in plain sight, the MIPS. We have Monet Exchange. I'm sorry, you have no business putting Monet on this shortlist. Rob Sestonino, big mistake, girly pops. Poor sweet little Tara, who did she upset? And
Yeah.
preseason fan favorite Kristen from Top Chef.
The hottest person
Like,
on the season.
there's
But
not a single person there it's acceptable to murder.
yeah, I think, to be fair, I feel like she was just jealous of all the hot people at that point. It was like, put
Literally,
all the
I'm
good
like,
looking
I'm
men
sorry.
first and then hot people second.
We literally have Colton available. Okay? We have Stephen available.
Yeah.
Why are we not murdering them? Anyway, whatever. But the thing that pissed me off the most about the MIPS, the thing that pissed me off the most about MIPS was that it was Rob Sestonino, not Rob Roche. Rob Roche
Yeah.
can go to hell.
Yes.
But I thought that it was really weird that at breakfast, when Alan Cumming rolls out in his Oompa Loompa costume, that he didn't even give Rob the dignity of telling everyone at breakfast that it was in fact a murder in plain sight. He was right. Like, usually they reveal last night was a murder in plain sight, and that did not happen.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because that's why when Lisa was like, he like gave a hint, but nobody like picked up on the vague hint where he was like, Rob, taken in the night in front of your eyes. They're like, yep.
Mm,
Yeah, they're like, yeah, that
sure.
sounds right.
Yeah, that's this cast for you. So our third shortlist for murder, they're really into shortlists for murder here. They're not at all about like anyone can go. This is a result of mission 3, which we'll get to. So we have Ron, Lisa, Eric, Kristen, and Caroline. Obviously, Lisa not available to be murdered. Also feel like this is a very cursed shortlist.
Yeah, I know. When they had all them like against the trees, I was like, "Ugh, this is like not. I don't. This okay? Maybe you're right. Maybe this is going to be the most cursed season because I don't want half the like any of all the people that've been on the short list. Well, except for the first one, but like all these people, I'm like, I don't want them to be eliminated. I want to
Literally.
see
And
more
I'm
of
like,
them.
half of them aren't going to be eliminated, right? Like Caroline, I know Lisa and Candace are like, oh, if we murder Caroline, it'll
Oh
take the
yeah,
heat
no,
off us. They're not
yeah,
murdering Caroline, okay?
no,
They're
because
not.
it will, it will actually amplify the heat. So
Yeah. And as Caroline says, I'm not your biggest problem here. They all take very different approaches to begging for their
yes,
lives. She's like, let's be real, I am not your problem. She's not their problem. Ron Funches, who is actually my standout character still alive. I ride hard for that man. He's like, do it, you cowards! Kill me! They're not murdering Ron, right? Like, Ron has
no,
so much heat on him. He's socially isolated. Ron is safe. Lisa's a traitor. So that leaves Eric and Kristen. Eric's pitch is, to me, very clear he's trying to position a recruitment. He's like, I've got a lot of assets that could be useful to you. Like, I want to work with you, not against you. He's pitching to me, he's pitching recruitment. And then we've got Kristen. She's like, I'm not a person who begs. You've made up
yeah,
your mind, do what you will.
yeah,
I don't want either of them to go. We've not
neither.
had enough of either of them. Kristen's been completely invisible. We've had a couple of Eric confessionals, but not a lot.
Yeah,
We'll get to our predictions at the end, but my pre-prediction is it's between Eric and Kristen here.
well, yeah, it has to be. Yeah,
All right, let's go to the banishment. So Portia. Portia is our first banishment. She is a housewife, and she makes a couple of slips, and by a couple I mean a thruple of
yep,
slips,
yep,
saying that she murdered Ian, that she's when she was in the turret, blah 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 blah. Which the second most cursed alliance of Ron, Donna, and Michael are all bear witness to, and are like, are you seeing what I'm seeing? And in
yeah,
something nobody sees coming, Ron Funches leads the charge that gets Portia banished.
Yeah. 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 And it's so funny
It was
because,
super close.
yeah, it was really funny because I saw that Portia was banished first, and I was like, okay, sure. I'm not sure how that happened. And I was also watching the episode, I was like, oh, Portia, all of your unforced errors really like it really implicates you. Like you're saying multiple times the wrong thing. And then the fact that it ended up being so close, and at that point I knew that Donna had also gone at some point. And I was like, well, then how does this pan out? And so it was really, really interesting to see that. And then they all turn on Ron, and that's really, really interesting as well. But it was really interesting to see Portia basically self-destruct in front of our eyes. And also her not acknowledging sort of why. Like she understood, but she was also like, but I just misspeak. It's all right. They're like, yeah, but you do understand the words you are saying. You are saying we. You're implicating multiple people.
Yeah, I didn't think it was bad of Ron, Donna, and
No.
Michael to think this way. Like, you have almost nothing going into that first banishment. So it's a crapshoot. It's like, get rid of Michael because he's going to be a hindrance regardless of whether or not you think he's a traitor. I thought Rob Sestinino's explanation there, brilliant. That's a perfect first murder pick for me. But if you actually go into the first roundtable and feel like you do have some evidence, these misspeaks, like that is more evidence than you're ever going to get for a first
Yeah.
roundtable. So I actually thought this was perfectly acceptable. It was better, even though incorrect, than Donna, where they were purely basing their suspicions off the meta.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. No, because it's actual something quantifiable that you can just say, we voted for you because of this, not vibes. You acted like this around us after one day. It's like, you don't know these people personally that well. Some of them do, but yeah, it was good that they at least act. Do you know what? I'm proud of these people for acting on these immediate suspicions and just doing it, which is why they were all getting annoyed at Michael for bringing in drama that was irrelevant to their current trajectories. And this is what's going to probably make this really dramatic is that now they've got the confidence to just constantly do this. Because the next it's probably going to be Ron, and there's probably going to be Mike. Like they're going to do that, and they're even talking about orders and like these people are really going to just commit to ideas. They really
It's
are.
going to be a mess. And like, what was bullshit is that after this, Ron cops heat for it. Like, it makes no sense. He clearly explained his evidence. He put it out there. He wasn't hiding it from anyone like weird Donna. He made his pitch. He had a shot. He had nothing better to go off. So I do feel like it's really sad that this has ended up happening for Ron. And I think it doesn't help that Donna Kelsey was a traitor because they're like,
Yeah.
oh, he was trying to get the heat off her. But it's like, no, you have nothing coming into a first roundtable.
Yeah, literally. And how was he like? Why would he so overtly do that straight up?
Yeah. Donna Kelsey, on the other hand, she's the second banishment. This is where they make the flop decision to have the banishment straight after breakfast. But I do put more blame on her here too. Like, yeah, I think she was in a bad position because of the meta. But, Colton and Jam Jam go out of their way to try and give her space to talk and explain herself. She isn't able to do a great job. She hasn't really been trying to build relationships with people in the castle. And maybe that's just a personality thing, I don't know. But I don't think she did herself any favors either.
She's like the embodiment of yes, girl, give us nothing. Like she really did not do enough. She really was just like it you guys should really just be looking at other people because if it's me and I'm going to stand there, blah blah blah. And then was like, okay, you're giving us the same amount of nothing that we're using to accuse you of being a traitor. You went from giving us nothing to giving us nothing. So what are we meant to do with this? If you went, you're not fighting, you're not sad, you're not whatever. And that's the thing with the US celebrity ones. there's no real stakes for them. So their ability to fight, unless they're inherently somebody who's competitive, they're just going to go, oh, okay, I guess so.
Maybe. Anyway, that's who
Maybe.
we've lost. Let's move. It's a unanimous vote for Donna, except obviously Donna can't vote for herself. She votes for Michael Rappaport. And Michael Rappaport rage votes for Jam Jam because he hates Jam Jam for being Latino and gay. What do we so the
Actually,
mission? Yeah.
sorry, this reminds me of when they start fighting at the breakfast,
Yes.
and Michael's like, Jam Jam, you blah blah blah. And then Jam Jam's like, this is just how I talk. This is game talk. And then and then Michael's like, oh, but I'm not. And everybody's like, you're playing a game. I got so confused because I thought Jam Jam said, this is just how I talk. This is gay talk. And then I thought that Michael Rappaport was like, well, that's not how I talk. And I was like, wait, I'm so confused. And then when everybody started going, oh no, Michael, you're playing a game. Of course, everybody's going to be talking like it's a game. I was like, oh, he didn't say I talk gay. I talk
No.
game.
I mean, he talks a little bit of gay language. That's great. And he is in, as we get to the missions, the gay boat, which we love.
Yes.
The missions, I thought, even though the missions are the same missions we're getting in the UK, I still thought that I enjoyed them because it was a completely different take on them. They were more strategic about them. And
Yes.
yeah. So in the first mission, it's the row to get the coffin to make up the death row. And there's 3 teams in 3 boats. So we've got, as Johnny tells us, the gay boat with the gays. Then we've got the gamers and housewives boat. And then we have the white team, which ironically has the most people of color on it, plus notorious racist Michael Rappaport. And in a move we could have seen coming, the gays, gamers, and housewives all team up to take down Team White, aka Team People of Color and Michael Rappaport.
I love it.
Sometimes
I
art
did really
imitates
love it.
life. I
Yeah, it
thought that was
does.
so good. I thought that
Oh,
was so
when
good.
like, do you know what I'm really impressed by? And it might come up later down the line, but I'm surprised that Natalie's getting away with so much so far.
Yeah, she is. But she's good at making relationships.
Yeah. Like, even when she would, like, first that, like, when she was like, okay, guys, we're teaming up against the other boat. Let's just do it. And then was like, okay, great plan. And then, like I alluded to earlier, when she was just like, Dorinda, just go to Lisa and blah, 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 blah. I'm just really surprised that they're just taking her for how she is, and even her at the round table. Like, everybody really,
Yeah.
really is. I think she might be the first, like, really 100% faithful, like, to the others. Because she's getting away with so
Interesting.
much.
She is getting away with a lot, and I love her relationship with Monet. I liked Jam Jam's relationship with Monet as well. I think we
Yeah.
knew that Monet would integrate right with the survivors, and that has been enjoyable to watch. No, she's doing a really great job. The
Yeah.
second mission is the palanquins and shield tokens. What was interesting here was there was that real culture of men giving up the shield tokens.
Yeah.
Like, Monet hands his off to Lisa. Stephen is like, Dorinda, Caroline. Rob Rausch gives his to Jam Jam. Obviously,
Yeah.
Colton, takes it for himself because Colton's Colton. But we do end up with 2 men on palanquins at the end. But it was interesting how they seemed more concerned with using them for relationships than they were for shields.
Yeah, which was the hilarious thing about then Michael having to go at Jam Jam, even though the drama should have been that Jam Jam was booting Mora. It was like, yeah, but let's make this about me.
Also, why aren't you angry that Rob Rausch didn't give you the shield? Or,
Yeah, why?
like
Or Monet
anybody
or
else
whoever.
didn't give you a shield? Like, that Colton used it for himself rather than giving it to you. It's almost like instead of being angry at Colton, you chose to get angry of the Latino man. Like, it was just,
Yeah.
I can't stand him.
Yeah, it was that whole segment was interesting to witness.
So I loved some of the earlier Alan outfit choices. I felt like in between Oompa Loompa in episode 3 and
Yep.
this look in episode 2 where he's like, I'm going to get my foils done at the hairdresser. He's like literally wearing the foils you would wear as his outfit. And then
Yeah.
he had like half his hair pasted down with what
Yes.
wasn't but looked like bleach. I was like, is Alan going for the gay blonde look? Is he copying Philly?
Yeah. Seriously, he's cramping my look. Because okay, do you know what's interesting? I feel like okay, Alan was known for wearing outfits, but they were all toned really similarly. Like they were still like gentle, like dandy, camp dandy outfits.
Yes.
I feel like he's been inspired by Queen Kareen, and he's like,
Yes.
let's go full fashion moment because
Costume.
yeah, because
Yeah.
that Oompa Loompa outfit. Because I immediately thought, oh, this is you doing your Spy Kids 3 or whatever, Spy Kids 2 or whatever loop sort of vibe. Like I think he's channeling Kareen. Sorry, Alan, but I think you're channeling Kareen.
Yeah.
Because
I
Claudia's not
love
doing
Alan
this.
as a host. No, Claudia's not doing this. I love that Alan is doing this, and I love Alan as a host. But I just felt like some of the looks didn't hit for me this week.
No, no. And the thing is, like, love Alan, but yeah, I just don't think he's working it in the same way that Kareem, because his character is so different from Kareem's is like, I am the lady of the manor, fashion diva. Alan is Alan coming, doing his Scottish accent enhanced, and then wearing crazy outfits. Like it's not quite the character. He needs to work on it a bit more, workshop it.
He's kind of giving like the eccentric rich guy who lives in a castle and like maybe has some bodies in the basement and maybe a magician.
Okay, as in he has a magician, or he's also a magician.
Maybe he's a magician, maybe he has a wizard in doing experiments downstairs. Like, I don't know,
Do you
you
know?
know?
Oh, and do you know what? When we saw Lala, I was like, oh, Jane, thinking of you.
Oh, Jane, Miss Jane. We'll have to get Jane on to cover New Zealand season 3
Yes.
with us this year.
Yes, we will.
So
We will.
there was a third mission. That was rescue your partner from the cage with people left up for murder. And there's a few relationships here I think we can save for this next segment, which I'm calling Notable Relationships and Moments.
Hmm.
And what I want to kick this segment off with is we predicted a special alliance in our cast assessment, Philly. And while we haven't seen any evidence of them working together, I would just like to point out that the whole protection order alliance is still intact. Everyone who has had a protection order taken out on them still in the game. We've got Michael Rappaport, Colton, Johnny, and I'm making Candace an honorary member. She's had assault charges, not a protection order, but I think that still fits in the theme.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, they're still there. I did find the pairing. Some of the pairings were a bit obvious, but some of the pairings I was like, how did you two ended up together?
So Jam Jam and Steven were
Yeah,
in the
yeah. I was gonna
starting
say, yeah.
they were in the starting cars together. And
Ah,
I
okay, yeah.
feel like Jam Jam doesn't seem to want to associate with the other gamers. Like he kind
No.
of put Rob Sestonino offside. He doesn't seem to want to be associated with the gamers at all and is instead like going to Monet, going to Steven. Caroline he's been sitting with a few times, so I thought that's been quite one to watch.
Well, yeah, well, because Tiffany basically does the same thing too, which I was just like, okay, sure, everyone is just doing whatever at this point.
Yeah. We get other notable partnerships here, like Natalie and Monet. We've seen them; they're getting close. We've noted that Candice is bringing in Tara as one of her girlies. Like this is going to be one of my faithful. Tara and Johnny seem to have actually done quite a good job of keeping not making their relationship super obvious. We have Colton and Caroline. I did say that Caroline had been on some kind of Bravo con table saying she had bonded with one of the attractive young men, and I couldn't remember who it was. I believe it was Colton. I think
Which
these
makes sense
two
now.
are quite close. And then we really need to talk about Tiffany and Michael Rappaport. So Tiffany has decided she wants to make Michael her guardian angel. And this is just a terrible idea, Philly.
It's like a combination of two things. One, you're assuming that production would want Michael Rappaport there longer than he should be, effectively. So you're assuming that he's a traitor. Two, you're assuming that he's going to save you. It's like, there's something really, I don't know, you're really barking up the wrong tree. Because I don't think any of the assumptions you're making would ever have existed in the production meeting that they were not wanting this to be the deal, and yet you're assuming with full confidence that this is what's happened, and that's wild to me.
We have discussed many times that the Traitors Guardian Angel strategy is kind of surface level strategy now because a lot can go wrong. And the number one thing that's important is that your traitor guardian angel is the strongest traitor. That means the one that is most likely to make it to the end to protect you, the one who has the most sway up in the turret. Because once they're gone, they're not going to protect you. And if they become outed early, people are going to look at you for being so close with them. You have picked somebody here who, right after Traitors selection, calls out half the house. He's throwing out the housewives. He's throwing out the gamers. He's throwing out Rob Rausch. He's isolating everybody, okay? He's starting very personal, weird fights with Jam Jam. He has no influence. There is no universe in which he's going to be able to protect her. And in fact, she's going to go out before him. She is raising major eyebrows that she's A, close to him, B, thinks he's a traitor but still protecting him. And it doesn't help that you've got delusional morons like Colton in there who are like, only a gamer would kill a gamer. Like, Jesus Christ. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Well,
no.
but also in that scenario that you just referenced, she was the one who said that herself. I'm like, dude, you're not even setting yourself up for success. You're saying, of course, a gamer would blah, blah, blah. Okay, you do realize there's only 3 left now, and you're becoming the more prominent one. Sure.
I'm rooting so hard. This is why I'm annoyed, because I'm rooting so hard for her. I'm like, I'm running out of people to stan, and I need you. I need you to get it together. And I need you to ditch the man who loves posting racist memes about black women, okay?
Yeah, like...
You did a lot of hard work with the cookout, so if you want to team up with a prolific racist, you have the right to do that, but it's not doing you any favors for a myriad of reasons. Let's talk about Michael Rappaport for a bit, because he's got beefs with a lot of people. I do not buy for a second that this is what this man is like in his day-to-day life. I think he is going out of his way to be a big, obnoxious, loud, confrontational character that starts fights with everyone. I think it's a bit for TV. We did actually see quite a kind human moment from him when poor old Ron had been isolated and no one would pair up with him for the 3rd mission. And Michael did offer and say, look, do you want my partner? Because, you don't need to be on your own, mate. That said, the fighting is so much, and they need to banish him.
Yeah, the escalation every time is literally 0 to not even 100. It's like 0 to 100,000. The way he makes weird hyperbolic statements, like, as a good look, when he was doing that, that's how I knew, it's a bit. Why realistically would you be saying that? Oh, as the most good-looking blah blah, you're trying to make a joke. You're doing a bit. Like, this isn't real. You're trying to I don't know what you're actually trying to do
And
because you're not trying to make them laugh.
he thinks he's being iconic, but I'm like, no, this is
Yeah.
just a hostile working environment for Jam Jam.
Yeah. Yeah, literally. Like, I don't
Like,
know.
this is
There's just something, it's just not,
he's off.
yeah.
He's very off, and I'm not into it.
Oh, and also the thing, like, I swear in the first few moments of the first episode, he was like, there's probably going to be some gamers, going to be some housewives, la la la.
Yes.
Then flip to the next day. What? We have to murder to, no, they have to banish to, what? All of a sudden pretends like he has, what? I thought traitors couldn't get shields. What are you on about? You literally were just expressing that there's a high chance that there's a housewife or a gamer in the turret. And then next minute, I've conveniently forgotten that shields can't be taken, like, stop doing a bit. Just be a problematic psychopath and that's
Yeah.
it. But like, don't be trying to sell us on something you're not. That's also you're
And what he thinks
quadrupling
he
on it.
is, he's like, I think that I'm just a housewife stuck in this body. It's like, no, you're not. And he obviously really wanted to work with the housewives. So apparently he's a huge fan of the housewives, and he it does some after show about them. But like, all of the housewives are like, no, get away from me, you freak. And he gets wrapped
Yeah,
up in this drama between Candace and Portia. Like, I kind of love that they don't want a bar of him.
yeah. It's just so yeah. It's he's an in, he's just being annoying. Yeah, he's just being very very annoying. I would say
He's very
if I was to
annoying.
simplify it.
Love Monet being thirsty for all of the gays. She's like so thirsty for Colton, thirsty for Rob Rausch. I'm like, first of all, Monet, you can do better than both these men. Step away.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Colton for a moment
Yep.
here.
Yep.
I am kind of obsessed with Colton as a character. Like,
Yeah.
Colton is the king of Delulu. The way Colton thinks he masterminded the Donna Kelsey banishment is so iconic. When he's got that confessional in episode 3 where he's sitting there in his like
Just
little polo short with the cashmere cardigan over his shoulders,
yep.
looking like a Mormon private schoolboy. And he's like, and I've put these puzzle pieces together and it's Tiffany. And I'm like, no, what Colton thinks he is and what Colton is giving are so far apart. Like, it makes total sense to me that this man was the heterosexual bachelor
Yep. Yeah,
while being a
because
raging homo.
it reminds me of even when they came into the mission and they were I think it might have been the first one. And they were like, oh, you're a big sportsman or whatever. And he's like, no, not for a long time. Now I'm just a gay. You do realize fucking muscle gays are well and truly an archetype that exists more prominently than, like, he's just, I feel like he's giving very, I'm not like the other gay vibes.
Oh, there's something
Yeah.
about him that screams, I should say, like, I have a special relationship with Jesus Christ. I am gay for Jesus. And I don't
Yeah.
know what it is, but that's his gay brand.
Yeah. 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 Basically is, which is why I feel like then in his sort of approach to everything, he's like, yes, I was the person who, because you're all buying it. You're buying whatever I'm putting forward. That is why I'm the traitor hunter, because I got out Donna Kelsey, the most quiet, didn't do anything person, and we all agreed that she was worth banishing. Like, there
On
was
what
no
planet?
investigation.
On
Yeah, there's
what
no
planet?
investigation.
And Colton is going far in this game. And
Yeah, he
the
is.
Colton Delulu is only going to intensify.
Yeah. I think he thinks he's Dylan Efron and
No, he
Peter Party
fully
Pals.
thinks, except that, like, Dylan Efron was also wrong about everything,
Yeah.
but in a lovable way. I actually think he's Peter from Peter Party Pals. That's who he
Yeah.
thinks he is.
Well, Dylan Efron was just a guy who was on the show. He was just a
And
guy.
was lovely.
He
He was just
like,
there
was just
being
a
hot
guy.
and iconic. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Peter, really, once he got a bit of, because this is the thing, this is a speed run of Peter's trajectory. It was like, once Pete got duped down and all that sort of stuff, then he turned this on. Colton's doing it at the second banishment.
Yeah, but no, but yeah, anyway, I look forward to Colton not leading a single traitor hunt this entire season, but being convinced, absolutely convinced he's running the whole game.
Yeah,
And
I'm
then,
excited.
like, getting told at the final fire of truth by Rob Rausch, sorry, mate.
Yeah. Is that a prediction?
Well, maybe before we get to Crush Pyramid, we should get to predictions. Do we
Yeah.
have any theme music for predictions? I feel like we should make some theme music for predictions. Part
Um,
of our rebrand, by the way, does not include actual segue music. We will just be doing
no, I'm gonna do like this
sound
sound
effects.
because that's like the wheel spinning.
Oh yeah, wheel spin. You do wheel spin, and I'll do like a jingle. Prediction.
Bing.
All right. Perfect. Philly. What are your predictions? We only got one episode next week. Who is your murder prediction and who is your banishment prediction? If you need reminding, the people who can be murdered are Ron, who honestly I'm obsessed with Thoughts and Prayers, Eric, Kristen, or Caroline. They say
I think
Caroline
it's
would keep the
gonna.
heat off us, Kristen is smart and a threat, Eric is smart, and Ron would confuse people.
No, I think it's gonna be as much as she's the hottest person on the season. I think it's gonna be Kristen.
I think it's going to be Kristen as well. That is my murder prediction, very unfortunately. I was very high on her coming in, but both her and Eric were microaggressively told that they were smart. She was also labeled as a threat. I think it's going to be Kristen. I also think she had the least compelling pitch. Who was your prediction for banishment next week?
Going off what I said before, I think they're gonna commit to either pulling the trigger on Ron or pulling the trigger on Michael. Probably Ron, because Tiffany's got Michael's back.
I can see a big fight between Colton and Tiffany next week. In fact, I think there was in the next time on a screaming match between Colton and Tiffany. So I wonder if Ron ends up being Cedric of the season, where he cops
Yeah,
a lot of
true.
heat but somehow makes it quite far, feeling
Yes.
isolated.
Yes.
But I do think that Michael, I don't know if people are ready to pull the trigger on Michael yet. So I am going to make Tiffany my banishment for next
And
week.
that's actually a wait, because I can see the trajectory. Colton's gonna be like, it's Tiffany because blah 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 blah. She's gonna defend Michael. Yeah, it's gonna be a whole thing. Yeah, that was a good prediction.
Yes. All right. So those are our predictions. Let's move to our next segment, Crush Pyramid. Are you ready? Ooh, Crush Pyramid. Crush Pyramid. Okay, Crush Pyramid. Okay, who's your Crush Pyramid, Philly?
Okay, so I feel like it's actually when I was watching the episode, I think I had a few sort of ideas, and then as we've been speaking, it sort of flip flopped about. So, I think on the bottom of my crush pyramid, I think I'm gonna put Natalie. She wasn't going to be on my crush pyramid, but now, as I've now pointed out, she's getting away with a lot and she's doing things, which I appreciate. And also, I loved her before, so this is great. This is a bit of a rogue um person, but I for some reason wanted to put her on my crush pyramid. But Caroline Stanbury.
Oh, I love Caroline. She's so good.
The fact that she knew who people were when they were doing the fact that she knew who the survivors were, I was like, oh, she
I
did her
missed it.
research.
Yeah,
And obviously, yeah, she's the least confrontational of the housewives, as you've told me, and I can see how she'd be able to get far based off just her general demeanor and whatever. So I love that. And then on the top of my crush pyramid, I have to do it, but it has to be Rob.
I love that. Are you actually, not to call you Rob Rausch, are you actually horny for any of these people, Philly? Would you even fuck Donna Kelsey?
Yes. No. 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 But the funny thing is, okay, this is something I was thinking throughout the whole episode. I was like, compared to UK at the moment, all these people are all too hot. Like they're all attractive. I was like, Christian was hot. Eric was hot. All the gays were looking really good. Rob was looking hot. Rob was also both Robs were looking hot.
The
Ian
Rob.
was, Natalie was like, I was like, actually,
You're
you're all
me.
too attractive. Like this is actually kind of a bit annoying because I don't want to watch hot people play a game. But then you could just look at UK and then be like, well, I don't find any of these people attractive. So what am I doing?
Obsessed. Outrageous. All right, at the bottom of my crush pyramid, I also have Natalie. But Natalie's a first pick for me. Like she was just like every
She looked.
outfit. I'm like, it is a crime against lesbians that Natalie is straight. Like, what are
I
you
know,
telling
right?
me that that is a heterosexual woman right there?
Yeah.
Because it's rude, frankly. It's rude. So Natalie, yeah, keep slaying, keep being incredible. The other person at the bottom of my crush pyramid, this is a very Annabelle choice, I feel, is Ron. I love a funny man who needs me to pop off for him. Do you know what I mean? Like, Ron needs a woman who can get in a screaming match on his behalf. And I felt something stir within me for Ron this week. His voice is also sometimes giving serial killer, which I don't hate.
I would also
And
say his
then,
voice definitely gives somebody you'd be into.
and then of course, top of my crush pyramid, Rob Sestonino, because I was genuinely salty. I was like, it made me more emotional than I thought I would be. I simp very hard for Rob. And most importantly, being right in the Traitors is hot. It's always hot to be right unless it's Colton, and then it gives me the ick. But we love a man with correct reads. So that's my crush pyramid. Natalie, Ron, Rob.
I love that maybe Caroline and Ron are the representations of where our tastes actually do exist. Because I love a tall blonde woman with big lips.
All right, let's go to Babe's Dictionary. Do you want to do
Mhm.
Paige's swishing sound effects for this one?
Yep.
Do. Babes Dictionary. Okay, Babes isn't just Babes in the Conclave. We're not just for entertainment. We're also an educational podcast. And I did get our Spotify. I finally checked our Spotify Wrapped. And so thank you to everybody who we were a top podcast for in 2025. I had a little cry. It was very special. And I know exactly who's listening to this podcast, Phil, because the
Yep.
top artists for Babes in the Conclave listeners are Lady Gaga, Charlie XCX, and Taylor Swift. So sorry
Oh,
we've been mean about Donna Kelsey, but we know we're a podcast for the girls and the gays
yeah, we
and the
are.
girls who are gay.
Yeah.
And
And the
in
theys.
honor, and the theys, many theys. Yeah, this is the only Traitors podcast exclusively hosted by theys and gals, I'll have you know. Right. So, Babe's Dictionary, this is where we know we do have a handful of heterosexual listeners. And it's been brought to our attention a few times that they don't understand 90% of the things we say on this podcast, but for some reason they keep listening anyway. So, we've embarked on a mission to maybe define some of these terms and help our heterosexual correspondents understand the podcast that they're listening to. So, in honor of our fallen prince this week, I wanted to define some terms that were very confusing for Rob Sestonino when we used them while talking about him in a clip from the cast assessment posted to Instagram. So the 3 terms today we're going to talk about are Dom Top, Bratty Bottom, and Pillow Princess. So let's start with Dom Top. Would you like to give your definition of Dom Top?
Okay, a dom top is a dominant top, so like somebody who's going to throw you around and
Yeah,
top you.
literally. So I did some a Dom Top, according to Urban Dictionary, masculine gay, a bit rough and dominating, likes to do the penetrating.
Mhm.
Okay? So,
Yep.
next term, bratty bottom. Oh, Dom Top. Dom Top within the context of the Traitors. When would we use Dom Top within the context of the Traitors? I would describe Rob
Bob and
Rob
Rob.
Rob
Yeah.
Roche as giving, yeah, the other Rob as giving Dom Top energy over these 3 episodes. Like, he was giving quiet, in control, in charge, unafraid to injure you seriously for his own benefit. Bratty Bottom. A bratty bottom is a submissive bottom who likes to refuse or fight the top in a bratty way, prefers being penetrated. So, a bratty bottom within the context of the Traitors, I would point to the other Rob from our Dom Top, Rob Sestonino here, who was fighting against the Traitors, who were, penetrating the faithfuls from every angle as they enacted their violent, murderous desires. But our King Sestonino was not going to take it lying down, Phil. He was going to refuse the violence and fight on his way out. And
Hmm.
it was
Yep.
giving Bratty Bottom.
Yep.
Lastly, we have Pillow Princess. Someone who likes to receive sexual pleasure without reciprocating. Used within the context of the Traitors, I would point to our dear friend, Stephen, who is simply there, giving us absolutely nothing. And I'm sure he's having a great experience, but it's been not a great experience watching him play the game, as
Yes.
I often forget he is there. So those are
Yes.
your
I
3
I
new
forgot who
terms.
you were referring to.
Yeah, yeah. Don't ask me what his last name is because I can't remember. Stephen, the one from One Tree Hill. Was it One Tree Hill? Yeah, One Tree Hill and
Laguna
Laguna Beach.
Beach.
Our Pillow Princess, Stephen.
Yeah. Love it.
All right, incredible. So, everybody, thank you for listening to Babes in the Conclave. Please subscribe to this podcast if you haven't already. Leave us a rating and review so that you can help people find us. If you love us, maybe, tell a friend who likes the Traitors. We're here, we're queer, and your grandma's going to love it. As I said, we're also looking to make some improvements this year. It's on our 2026 New Year's resolutions that Philly and I are actually, we're going to do it. We're going to make an effort. We're going to get it right. I swear I will post this episode on YouTube this week. We're gonna
Gosh, and
eventually
I'm,
get.
I'm posing so much.
We've been posing aggressively throughout this whole thing. Like, I'm looking hot. It needs to be seen. And yeah, we're putting in some effort. So if you're a long time listener, please give us some feedback on things that you think would make it better or things that you like and want to keep. But we love you so much. You can follow us on Instagram, it's Babes in the Conclave on
Yeah.
Instagram. And I'm going to change the YouTube when I upload this to Babes in the Conclave as well.
Mhm.
Philly, what have you got going on? Where can the people find you?
I'm still recapping UK with Trana. So, and as we got some great rave reviews from Annabelle, I think you should listen to it.
It was
And you
so
can
good.
follow me on Instagram at Chili Philly. What about you, Annabelle?
Stunning. I'm also covering the Traitors UK with Puya on We Know the Traitors. So you can listen to that one after you finished with Babes in the Conclave, because, what can I say? More is more. Anyway, we are looking forward to seeing where this goes. Is this going to get even messier? Is Colton going to mastermind this entire season? Is our pillow princess Stephen going to wake up and actually do something? Who knows? But we will see you all next week. Bye!
Bye.